What's the benefit of staying stuck with money? What's that payoff for you? What is my nervous system trying to protect me from? And really dig deep on those questions, because those questions and those insights and those answers will unlock revelations for you. And that is how you get what you want. Hello, and welcome back to another podcast episode. As I am recording this, it is snowing outside where I'm at currently. So I am eager for warm weather, which will be arriving to me soon. This episode is also being released on Black Friday, and I hope you are taking time to slow down and cultivate presence within yourself. Presence as in peace, curiosity, calmness, and presence for what you have to be grateful in this life. So before we start any further, there's two things that I want to invite you to. One, on December 8th, 2025, we are starting the 12 Days of Presence Challenge, and I will drop a link in the show notes. I would love for you to join this. It's $12. And ironically, after the fees come out, it's $11.11 on the back end. And if you are an angel number person such as myself, that may inspire you as well and give you a little laugh for the day. So please join that. It's going to be awesome. 12 days with one super present that you get to unlock every single day. And during this, busy time of year, typically globally, take these 12 days, December 8th through December 19th, to really cultivate presence in your life, in your home, in your business, and ultimately in your community. Instead of doing more, buying more, hustling more, you can become centered and do these really simple practices every single day that take 60 seconds. And we're going to kick off with a beautiful ceremony and then also end with an integration as well. So please join us. And then the second thing before we dive into today's topic, which is going to be on shame, money, and nervous system. And perhaps you are in a current time of financial stress, whether that is personally, whether that is in your business. And I'm going to share some really raw, real stories personally from me to you, with you. And I want you to take this away as we are all in this together, and you are not behind. I am not behind. We are right on time. So before we dive into that, I also want to invite you to support my work and my mission of making personal growth, healing, health, and hope accessible for every single person that desires it. And so we are in phase 1 of the Heal Thy startup. And the first product is called Foundations. And it is a proprietary deck of cards. And every month you get a new set of cards with that monthly theme. And there is a very simple prompt on the first card, or on all of the cards, with an action item. And there's obviously 30 cards in a deck. And then there's a really fun motivational quote in the back. And then a little stand that you can set on your kitchen counter, on your nightside table, on your office desk, anywhere that you need a little reminder. It also comes in a cute bag, and sign up for that subscription and give it as a gift. And right now, when you are giving it as a gift, I am including a free 5-minute nervous system reset audio for you. So this is your incentive to purchase a deck of cards. The link will be in the show notes. And I'm really grateful for your support. This is phase 2 of building out a very large global and domestic vision. And every purchase supports a single mother through the Glow Up Sisterhood, where we coach and empower single moms who are going through family court, divorce, post-abuse separation, navigating communication with an abusive ex-partner, father of their kids, and helping them reclaim their power and really giving these moms a chance to be seen, heard, and lifted up. So when you purchase this, you are supporting the mission at hand, which is multifaceted. So, without further ado, let's jump into this topic. And I already kind of feel my system bracing on it because it's a really sensitive topic. And I will share some more intimate details over how I kind of arrived here and what my nervous system has been doing and how I'm practicing diligently to rewire that. And I want you to walk along this journey with me. We are not solo beings. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking to you about money from not the already rich stage. I'm not coming to you. I posted this on Threads, and 2 minutes later, I had $2 million roll into my bank account. That's not my story. And it's really, I see a lot of those posts online, and a lot of it is clickbait. So please don't judge yourself by other people's highlight reels, clickbait. It could even be bots. It's not even necessarily true. So keep that in mind when you see people throw up really large numbers of, 6 months ago I did this and now I have, 50,000 downloads. A lot of that is not even real content. So just preface that with that. I will be sharing with you how I am navigating money while it's currently in a stressful, tight situation. And then also how your nervous system, my nervous system, is handling all of this and how I'm walking through it in real time without abandoning myself. And that's the key. So many of all of our quote unquote issues is, really looking underneath of what's causing that issue in the first place. Like one of my mentors, has always reminded me that the problem isn't the problem, it's the result. And what is it the result of? That's where we look. So let's say a business person, a CEO, founder is struggling to get sales, or they are having like a block around sales. Well, it's not that they need more strategy, they need a better marketing plan. Like those are all external, fancy, fun things to do. A founder's nervous system is probably still wired into a belief that is keeping them stuck energetically, which is why they can't align sales into their ecosystem. And there's so many different questions, scenarios. Maybe it is a mother and her child is always throwing temper tantrums. We could look at that through a couple different lenses. One of them, the child isn't throwing a temper tantrum because he didn't get their way. It's because of conditions that have been set in that environment. She is not being seen. The child is not being heard. Maybe there's abuse happening in the home. And so it's really looking underneath the kitchen table of what is really happening in a human system, whether it be a child or an adult or a business or a startup or, whatever the situation is at hand. And so for this episode, we are going to talk kind of about money, a little bit of shame, and then nervous system. So I am currently recording this in a season where my bank account has been perpetually low for a very long time. I have a phone bill due, electric, other necessity bills due. They're all lined up. And so I'm not telling this to you from the mountaintop of millions and billions, even thousands. That is not my current story. I am in it. And my pattern, my nervous system, has been to really contract and to freeze and shut down. Sometimes there's a little like, okay, if I just work, if I just make another post, if I just have another networking meeting, I can push this through. Usually my pattern is to kind of pull back, retreat, contract, and abundance is the opposite of contraction. And so I go numb. And this is very interesting. When I look, when my body collapses, when I look at my bank account, that is a really good signal that I need to come back to the bank basics. And if your body collapses, whether it's fight, freeze, fawn, all of the F words, this episode is for you. Because these are just adaptations, misaligned adaptations, that our body has had probably over decades, as well as generational cycles. If our lineage came through, all of us came through war at one point in our, ancestry. Here in America, most of us have, grandparents that, I'm giving my age away a little bit, but, my grandparents who are now, have transitioned to the next life, they were both raised in the Great Depression. And so you have that imprint into the nervous system through generations. And so these are all different wirings in our nervous system that can block the flow of money. It can even be through, your own childhood of being told in religious settings, money is the root of all evil. Money is bad. Belief systems such as, rich people, are stingy and they don't give money. There's all kinds of beliefs around money. Maybe you lived in poverty growing up. Maybe it was not safe to ask for anything, food, basics. That is also an imprint in your money nervous system. And so I'm not sharing these as, new insights. There's so much nervous system money work out there. I can think of a couple of names off the top of my head that are talking about this. And I just wanted to share my personal experience with you instead of coming at this from a place of like, here's my money nervous system story and I have the millions and the billions and, the followers. I'm sharing it from you to you in real time. And so this is not going to be, a pretty bow on this topic. I'm going to share my exact thoughts, the sensations, and the moves I am making while I'm still in active trauma around money and how I'm moving forward every day despite that. So a little backstory, if you've not been following me for very long, maybe this is your first episode. I was involved in a intimate partner relationship and it was extremely abusive in every single way. And I had a child, and ultimately my child was trafficked from me, and I did everything I could to prevent him from being further abused. And I lost my business, I lost my house, I lost just about everything a human could in keeping him and myself safe. That is a lot of trauma to go through for a human. And even though I do have, childhood beliefs about money, the most recent thing has really been of rebuilding my life from literally scratch. And it has not been easy. And thank goodness I have this ultra endurance mindset that we persevere, we will reach the summit no matter what, and this may just take a little bit longer than what I would prefer. What are the opportunities along the way, the different, base camps along the way, to use all these mountain metaphors, that I can, use for my life, but also share and teach with you. Because I know if I'm going through something, you're going through something similar. Your situation could be totally different. And yet the beliefs and the nervous system is still pretty much the same. It could be fight, flight, freeze, fawn. There could be a contraction. It could be a propensity to push harder, hustle more, work more hours. It could be more along the lines of numbing, shutting down, contracting, hiding, freezing, being paralyzed. And so as I build my empire, I have huge visions that God has given me. And that is one of the reasons why I do keep going, because even though I have been through really difficult, challenging circumstances, there's something that is calling me forward that's bigger than myself. And that's really the key to all of this personal growth work, of having a vision so big that you don't really know how it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. You're not exactly sure of the steps. And when you have that big vision being offered to you, it gives you that motivation to keep on navigating the current circumstances. And I'm not going to say pushing through, but aligning your daily actions to match up. Like its frequency, its energy, to go with that which you desire. And so I want you to connect your experience to biology so you feel less broken. And our nervous system's job is not, quote unquote, make money. It is to keep us alive. That's it. It's very simple. So there's different names for this. This is more of the internal family systems process, IFS parts work. But there's, the managers, there's the protectors, and the nervous system just wants to keep you alive. And so every time you feel that contraction or you feel like you need to push harder, literally just say internally to your nervous system, thank you so much for working so hard to keep us alive. We don't need to do that anymore. And to let that nervous system know that, we are not we're not being chased by a tiger and going to be food for the lion tonight. And I'm going to give you some examples of how to bring safety back into your body through your nervous system. And some of you, it might be the first time you're doing these very basic exercises, and they're totally free. You can do them immediately, good for any age. And, when your nervous system perceives threat around money, it will go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And then, my primary one is typically freeze. It's a very paralyzed state of feeling so overwhelmed of I have this massive visions that have been, really downloaded to me from God's source. And how do I make those happen when reality is a very different picture? And so, what does freeze look like? It could be scrolling. That's, we live in this day and age where people are just mindlessly scrolling on their phone, on social media, zoning out on TV shows, Netflix episodes, binge watching, going back to bed, avoiding checking your bank accounts, procrastinating sales, procrastinating even actions of taking that next step because your nervous system is so afraid of being told no. That is a perceived death threat. It's it's literally, our nervous system is a life and death situation. And as a collective, the more we heal this life, death patterns, the less this pattern is going to be alive, and we can live in healing. We don't have to live in this perpetual state that we are being hunted all the time. And that's freedom. That's peace. That is 12 days of presence. And so nothing is wrong with you if you shut down around money. It's your body doing his or her job. And we have the opportunity to give it new information. And so what are your beliefs underneath your money fear? So some of these are personal, and I won't say which ones are personal, and these maybe resonate with you as well. So the benefit of staying in lack, staying broke, kind of staying in that poverty level, is it won't be taken away from me. If you don't have it, how can they take it away? Another one is the fear underneath wealth is it will be taken. And so there's so many different beliefs underneath that nervous system imprint. And for, my lived reality of, things being taken from me, like my child, my family, like safety, relationships, even childhood autonomy, like those are all different things of being taken. And it's a misinterpretation of reality, and it's coming back in to what is the aligned truth. How can we rewire our nervous system to relax so it's not under constant threat, stress, and duress? And this is, we're talking specifically about money, and when you rework and rewire your nervous system for money, it's going to rewire other areas in your life. So that way you're not always stressed and tense and tight and anxious, all those A words. And, when my body associates having more with the risk of loss, of course it's going to block me from receiving. And so my new rule is I can earn steadily without danger. I can earn steadily without danger. Money doesn't have to mean attack. Money doesn't have to mean loss. And so as you are listening to this, I just want to have you ask yourself, what's the benefit of staying stuck with money? What's that payoff for you? What is my nervous system trying to protect me from? And really dig deep on those questions, because those questions and those insights and those answers will unlock revelations for you. And that is how you get what you want. So I personally have made myself a little money plus a nervous system protocol for this week, because otherwise I am just going to continue to shut down. And that is not going to help me. It's not going to help my family. It's not going to help the millions of people that I know I will be serving in due time. And I want to rewire this. And this is why I'm sharing all of this with you. And yeah, there is, some shame that you're listening to this and you're like, wow, I thought, she had it all together. She's making all the money. And no, I am not. I am sitting here from a place of rebuilding my life, literally from the ashes. That's the whole metaphor behind Hope Rose, rising from the ashes, just like the phoenix. And this is real. This is a real-time conversation, and I'm really excited to a year from now to see what my money story is going to be, because I am taking daily, devoted, dedicated, disciplined action of rewiring my nervous system and making the post, sending out the emails in terms of like startup business type things, and teaching my system that we are safe. And literally asking to receive money on a daily basis, no matter how difficult it is for my system, no matter how scared and terrified she feels of asking of like, okay, there's going to be no. What does that say about me? Nothing. It's simply data. It's going to be taken away. No, that's the old story. The new story is X. And so the first thing I want to share with you is to regulate first and then take your money action. So if you are scared to check your banking account, let's start with something really simple. Before you check your banking account, regulate first. And what does that mean? It means like a couple minutes of intentional breath. So I would encourage you to go back and watch the nervous system reset and do that practice. It's a 5-minute practice. You can watch the YouTube video, and that rewires your nervous system through very simple breathing practices, exercises. That is very simple. And then just take, a couple of minutes, put your hand in your belly. You want your belly to rise first, not your chest. We don't want to be in the sympathetic state. Typically when people, do the breath test and their hand is on their chest and hand is on the belly, the hand on the chest rises first. And that is a very kind of contracted place. We want to have full diaphragmatic breath. And so putting your hand on your belly, count to 4, inhale for 4, and then exhale for 6. You can even see if you can stretch it out as a goal to make it 8. And when we have a longer exhale, it signals safety to the body. We are safe right now. We are not being chased by a lion. This is a bill. This is simply checking our bank account. It's not a bear. It's not a lion. It's not a lean. So I want you to remember that. When you're feeling stressed around money, before you do anything, really come into your body. Second thing besides breath, it would be movement. Take a walk around the block. Walk to, if you live in a house, take a walk down to your mailbox. Take a walk to the end of the street. Do some kind of movement. Shake your body, shake your limbs out. Do Pilates, weight lift. Be in nature. Different yoga poses. Something that gets you out of the freeze. The third thing is orient. So this is actually a practice I'm going to be very dedicated on. My subconscious in my dreams has been letting me know that my body still doesn't feel safe given, CPTSD and all of that, all that I have been through. And so I need to signal to my body that we are safe. And so my goal is every hour on the hour to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 practice. Naming out loud 5 things I see, 4 things I can feel, touch, 3 things I hear, 2 things I can taste, and 1 thing, what's the 1 thing? One thing you can taste and 2 things is something else, but it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 practice. And, just like look around, like fridge, towel, tea kettle, spices. And that lets your body know that we are in present time. We're not in the past, and we are also not in the future tripping. And then literally just kind of say out loud, I'm here, I am safe, and I'm okay in this moment. And this is how we slowly rewire our nervous system in real present time. And then like a 1-sentence subconscious mantra, I'm right on time. I can earn steadily without danger. And then moving on to B, concrete money action. So after you've regulated, this is your actual money action. So this is more to the CEO, entrepreneur, startup founders. If you are having issues around money, this is for you. You can tweak them to your, situation. 1 is money reps. What are your money reps going to be for that day? And map them out the week ahead. You can use ChatGPT to do this. It could be sending 3 direct messages to potential, ambassadors, buyers, warm leads. It could be posting a story about, for Heal Thy, or your offer. It's following up with 2 people that you've already talked to about your offer. It is investing 10 minutes into your sales page or checkout flow. And it's not about making the sales page perfect or the checkout flow super, super tight, it's literally letting your nervous system know that we are safe. We are doing these actions and signaling to our nervous system that there's no bear around the corner. We are sitting, in an office, at home, like we have, we got Wi-Fi, we have, a cup of hot tea, we got warm socks on, signaling to your body that it is safe to build the sales page. And even that little reminder, it may sound really funny. However, if you are struggling with abundance, money issues, this will be key as you start to call in the wealth that you absolutely require in your life. And so, my old pattern is panic, shutdown, shame. My new pattern that I'm rewiring into my nervous system in real time is activation. So I'm activated, I'm feeling, overwhelmed, I'm feeling like it's going to be taken away from me. I regulate, full stop. Whether I feel like I press my feet into the floor, I can feel, all 10 toes on the floor, and even placing each one individually down on the floor. I look around and name things. I look around and hear things. I look around and what do I feel? What do I taste? And this is all, movement. This is why movement is absolutely key for any type of rewiring belief systems that are misaligned, especially the nervous system. Weightlifting, strength, physical strength is actually really key in building a regulated nervous system. And that's a whole nother topic as well. Like our nervous system is to keep us safe. It's not supposed to be regulated all the time. And I think there's, a lot of misconception that, my nervous system is so dysregulated. It's a medium spectrum, you kind of want to be, it's like you don't want to always be in the fight, flight, freeze, fawn stage. And you also don't want to be so passive. It's more like the under functioning, where let's say if, when you need to respond to something, for example, what's coming to me is this is when you hear stories of people like lifting cars off of another body. That is an adrenaline response. We don't want a regulated nervous system in that instance, because that's when our, primal instincts kick in, and we can do these amazing feats that we never thought we could, that normally you're not going to be doing on a daily basis. And so the goal of nervous system regulation is not holding more. Think of it as an electricity going through a wire. It passes through the wire. It doesn't stay in one place. The same thing for our nervous system. We're not staying in one place. We are moving it through. That's why it's moving energy. That's why like weightlifting and movement, we're moving that energy out. So that way more comes in, and you're just expanding your vessel into like a bigger wire, so to speak, visually. And so you regulate, and then one tiny brave money action that day. So again, the new pattern is I'm feeling activated. I notice. So congratulating myself that I'm noticing. I regulate with the laundry list of options that are out there. And then I move forward with one tiny action every single day. And it could be multiple times a day this comes up, like recording this podcast. Like that is moving forward. Instead of feeling shame around sharing some of my struggles with you, I moved forward and it was like, how can this benefit myself by sharing this? It's safe to do so. I am creating safety for myself. And it also lets you realize that you are not alone in your story or whatever you are going through as well. So some days, excuse me, the win is just not avoiding the numbers. Some days it's just one DM, and that still rewires your body's association with money from danger to I can move with this. I can work with this. I see you. I love you. We're not going to die. And, it's on the mountains. Like, I don't question if I'm going to summit and come back. I decide beforehand. I don't even decide. I just embody it. Like, I know I'm going to summit, and I know I'm going to return. And so, the only variables are, weather and really weather. And so how I'm connecting that to money is business and money are the same. I've already decided I'm building a massive, wealthy ecosystem. The only variables are timing and route. On a climb, if a storm rolls in, I don't make it mean I'm unworthy. I adjust my speed, my layers, and I look at the forecast obviously ahead of time too, and so that kind of gauges, when I start. Typically in the mountains, storms roll in, generally like the middle of the day. And so you have to start early. And so using my mountaineering, ultra endurance, athleticism into money and business is how I'm navigating nervous system and money. And so how can you apply that to your life? What if you treated your money season like a mountain? You're still a climber, and this is just a steep section, and it's not the whole story. Here are 3 practices you can do a couple minutes a day. Number 1, nervous system check-in. When you think about money, where do you feel it in your body? If you're not driving, I invite you to even just close your eyes, and maybe even if you are driving, put a little pin mark in this, so that way when you get home, or even when you're in your office, or maybe when you shut your car off, before you jump out immediately, just turn your car off, obviously put it in park, and close your eyes and just say, where do I feel this in my body when I think about money, when I think about bills, when I think about receiving money, when I think about asking for money? Where do I feel it in my body? Maybe you don't have an issue with asking for the sale, but you have an issue with checking your bank account or seeing bills. Where do you feel it in your body? Name the sensations. Tight chest, heavy stomach, numbness, like really, and put, typically you can kind of put a hand on that. Like I always feel it in my stomach. That's typically where like my anxiety and nervousness sits. Like it's just it's a very heavy, dense feeling. Number 2, your belief excavation. Here are 3 prompts for you. The benefit of staying where I am with money is, what's that payoff for you? Sympathy, victim consciousness, woe is me. What is the payoff for you? Number 2, the fear underneath having more is, and number 3, a new rule I'm willing to try is what? And if you need guidance in these 3 prompts, please reach out to me. I am happy to walk through this with you. And then number 3, the daily money rep, your 7-day experiment. For 7 days, regulate for 3 minutes a day with the regulation exercises, movements I have given you in this episode. Take 1 money action a day, whether that is asking for a sale, whether that's checking your bank account every single day. Perhaps you're the person who is obsessively checking your bank account every single day. And if you don't check it, you have anxiety. So that would be a place to look into. And then the third thing is write, I did it anyway. So please don't try to heal your entire relationship with money in one weekend. Simply start stacking the reps of safety and action. And over time, those compound. And you will see the dividends to keep with the whole money theme. And then, like if you're in a tight season financially, know that you're not alone. I'm right there with you. You're not behind. You're in a rep building phase. And if you're listening to this during the holidays, I want to encourage you to not feel pressure to get gifts for every single person that you maybe typically have gotten gifts. if it's a financially tight time for you, please don't spread yourself thin trying to please people with gifts that either are not going to be used, you really don't like the person anyway, you're just getting them out of obligation, not out of gratefulness, especially if you're putting it on credit cards. And you can make things. Maybe it's, investing time with them of like, hey, money is really tight this season. We're not going to be doing, gifts. I would love to, go on a hike with you. I would love to, jump on a video Zoom call for an hour with you and really connect with the other person. And so avoid putting yourself in the holiday pressure money zone, getting gifts because you're obligated to, because you're supposed to, because you should. Check in with your nervous system. What is going on? Check with your nervous system before you're spending gifts that you don't have the money for or that you are just feeling pressured for. If you want a simple, structured way to build habits and healthy systems that support your nervous system, that is one of the reasons why I have started the company Heal Thy. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, I would really appreciate your support in having you purchase a subscription for that. It's $49.99 a month plus shipping. Every month you're going to get a proprietary deck of cards. And these deck of cards are amazing. They're beautiful. And it's such a simple thing that you get to do every single day for like 30 seconds, less than a minute a day. It's an action and a prompt, and it's all focused on mind, body, spirit. So if this episode landed for you, I would love it if you would share it with a friend. Please rate this podcast. You can DM me the word money on Instagram if you want more info, more guidance on money, nervous system story, and realigning your nervous system for that. And as always, the link for Heal Thy Foundations is in the show notes. And then here are some six more questions I have for you. What does your body do when you look at your bank account balance right now? What old story about money are you most actively rewiring? What is the real fear underneath I want to be wealthy? What's one concrete example from this week where you regulated first, then took a money action? How does your mountain self handle hard sections, and how can that version of you handle this money season? And number 6, what do you want someone listening in a tight money season to know about their worth? So if you are, someone who is basing their worth off of, your bank account, please know that your worth is not based on a number. You're worthy because you exist. You're intrinsic. And we are going to end with a closing subconscious money and nervous system mantra. And if you are able to, put a hand on your body, your heart, your belly, and simply take in a deep breath with me. I am safe in this moment. I am right on time. Money is allowed to come to me. Money is allowed to stay with me. Money is allowed to grow with me. My nervous system is learning that money is not a danger. My body can feel activated, and I can still take one brave step. It is safe for me to learn to earn steadily without danger. It is safe for me to be supported. It is safe for me to have more than enough. I am not behind. I am building capacity. I am right on time. So if you need to, replay that mantra as many times as you want, and let your body hear and feel a new story about money until it begins to feel true. Rewire your nervous system all day long. So, happy Black Friday if you are listening to this on Black Friday. I appreciate your support. Please leave this show a 5-star review. That is one way you can support for free. And this gets the show into more listeners' earbuds and lives and nervous systems, because when one person heals, we all heal. I will see you next week. Have a beautiful day.